Andrew, come in. I'm morning and 4, radio's been down. What you got on Gary Cut now? Okay, copy. Okay, no problem. I'm at Biffles again. No tracks here also. And there's always a chance that I've missed tracks, but so far it's looking like there's still a leopard inside this area. Only chance of him leaving the area would be somewhere here towards the dam wall, but still not seeing anything. And then there was a slight gravel section coming down the fire break, so it also could have slipped over the road over there. Aha, we have somebody here already. Well, look at that. We've been here twice. Once on the other side, once in the middle, and now we've come back this way. And there's some nyala drinking. I think we ought to go down here and have a look. They're about to leave the water. Pop in and have a look. Only one left. This goes to show, these places that we visit, with the moment that we're visiting them, nothing happens and we think that there's nothing around. But sometimes you just have to sit for a while. Just one nyala that's left from a small group that was here drinking. Okay, I think that was bushbuck, not nyala. I didn't even look closely. I just sort of looked at them and then okay, let's go. Catch up with those antelope, but I just took it for granted that they were nyala. They might have actually been bushbucks. Excuse me a moment. lens cap from a Nikon. I think it must have come off that vehicle that's just been here. Although there's been a vehicle driven over it. Let's see. Henry, come in. Have you just been to Buffalo Dam? Okay, which station it was just at Buffalo Dam? Aubrey, I picked up a lens cap from a Nikon camera. I think that's one of your numbers. Lens cap from a Nikon camera.
Hello, this is Lucas from
Okay, Hilton, no problem. I'll speak to you. Where are you now? Alright, we'll catch up somehow. Okay, now I can only stay on Western Gari. Make the plan later in the morning, or I'll leave it for you somewhere. Okay, we'll do. Hi there, Bernie. Okay, copied. Yeah, I'm at Buffelshoek Dam at the moment, at the sort of turnaround cruiser spot with the big torchwood. I thought I just heard lion. Okay, well the guys can fight over the lens cap. This one says it's his, that one says it's theirs. He left it at the base of the tree and they'll have to sort it out. Jets are getting bounced around. There next to the meat. Did you, Ephraim? I just heard Ngala now. I'm up that way. Yeah. I think it's in Buffelshoek.
Morning, morning. Yeah, Andrew, how's the line up to the knowledge?
Sorry everybody, I know this is delaying the drive a little. You're welcome. Is it that one? Okay. Hilton, come in. Sorry, interrupting the radios here. Okay, we're gonna go to Chelapan and see what we can find. Not Chelapan, sorry, Gwaripan. And then I'm gonna go back towards the west. Find a Canon lens cap, nobody wants to know about it. Find a Nikon lens cap and it's everybody's. Okay, not everybody's, 2 people. Hello, Donna Toronto. I don't know where that came from, but Donna was saying she hears that it can be dangerous living in Africa. Is that true? I think it's less dangerous in Africa than it is anywhere else. Let me see. I don't think it is any more dangerous than anywhere else in the world. I think that there are probably areas of New York and Los Angeles and Tokyo, and no, maybe not Tokyo, they're pretty civilized in Tokyo. Maybe Berlin or London or Johannesburg. Well, no, that's Africa, sorry. Hello, Stenbuck, running away. I think there are areas of any city in the world that are more dangerous than Africa. But Donna, are you talking about dangerous from an animal point of view or dangerous from a human point of view? Because it's only dangerous from a human point of view in certain places. Of course, there are some areas, like the Niger Delta. You don't want to be going to the oil-rich Niger Delta in Nigeria, because you're likely to be kidnapped. You don't want to be sailing a fancy ship off of the Somali coast, because there's going to be pirates there that are going to raid your ship. You don't want to be in some parts of Somalia or Chad or some countries that are still having a little bit of political trouble and internal turmoil and dictatorships. You don't want to be, as much as I love Zimbabwe, you do want to go to Zimbabwe to see the parks and things, but I think what I'm trying to get at is, yes, there are some places that can be dangerous. There are some places where there's just a little bit of disruption and peace and quiet to the world. But overall, Africa is a very, very big continent. And in general, African countries and the African people are wonderful people and very, very hospitable and very, very friendly, and just would love to see people coming from the outside world and bringing in knowledge, bringing in revenue, bringing in commerce. Maybe, Donna, if you could let me know what sort of danger you are referring to. And the bush can be dangerous. It's not really the bush that's dangerous, it's the human being that's dangerous to himself in the bush. And I think that's evident from anywhere in the world where you have a natural wildlife area with potentially dangerous animals. And a human being who doesn't know what he's doing, danger is to themselves, the humans, not the animals. And yeah, the African bushveld, if you don't know what you're doing and you are not careful, if you're a little bit careless and you do things wrong, it can be dangerous. Then again, even if you know what you're doing, there are times when you can put a foot wrong with an elephant or a buffalo. We have a bit of crime in South Africa. I don't think it is. In some places it can be bad. You know, we have a gun culture, and unfortunately, it's that gun culture that can be dangerous. People with guns, they're just too easily available. So, moving on, question-wise. Stefan, does South Africa have any birds similar in size and color to a cockatoo? No, not those big white cockatoos, no. Cockatiel, yes, but then again, it's only similar in size and color. That's our grey lurie or go-away bird. That, I guess, the word similar is what one has to concentrate on there. They are similar. They're by no means related. They're not the same type of birds. But when you look at our grey luries, you look at a grey cockatiel, they don't have the yellow ear patches, and they don't have the hooked beak of the cockatiel, but just from a distance, that grey bird with a long tail, I guess you could say it's somewhat similar. We're heading up to Cheetah Cut Line now, hoping to find something else. Hilton, come in. Bernie, come in. Welcome back, Bernie, by the way. That lens cap was claimed by one of Effin's guests. Out of my hands. Okay, thanks. Sorry, go again?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hope to see you sometime over the weekend.
I'll be here a couple of days. Nothing to no doubt. Huh?
Yeah, no doubt. Have a good one. Zebra tracks, fresh zebra tracks heading down south. What's interesting about them is that there are no vehicle tracks on top of them, so we might be the first vehicle up here on Cheetah Cut Line this morning, or at least on this section of it. And some leopard dung, but it's old. Doesn't help. Have I shown you these flowers that are flowering? the morning drive? I don't think so. We saw them in the afternoon drive, and I was racking my brain trying to think of what they were, and then Sharon helped me out, because it was a similar situation last year when they first started appearing. One of the first of the little bulbs to pop its head up above the ground, and unusual in that a lot of the bulbs need rain and water and moisture to first produce leaves, and then of course after the leaves come they might then produce a flower. For this little thing called a slunkop, which translated means snakehead, it's producing its flower before the rain comes, and I guess in the wet season that's when it'll produce its leaves. See if I can find you one. There were a few further back. I know there are one or two further forward, I think, but we will find them. Aloha MJ, and thanks for the comment. MJ, who's recently been on a trip to Africa, and I'm very, very sorry to have missed you, MJ, but that area of Kruger is quite a distance from here to be able to get there. So, Central Road, let's continue straight down. MJ was saying that on her recent trip through Africa, she found everybody extremely friendly, wonderful people, but they were warned to stay away from certain areas at night, and I think, as MJ says, that's true of any area. You don't want to be walking around looking like a tourist in certain parts of any city, anywhere in the world. There are some areas that you're going to be targeted. I know it was true of Miami some years ago. There were some serious incidents with tourists. Well, we won't pick names. It's just suffice it to say that generally, wherever you go as a tourist, if you're with qualified guides and proper organized tours, you're not going to find yourselves in dangerous areas. It shouldn't happen. The nature of the human being that one has to be careful of in some places, and then in some cases humans can be worse than any, let's put it this way, people call them animals, but they're not, because it's an insult to animals, but humans can be a little bit unscrupulous. Fairly old lion tracks. Hoping to find some lion tracks that Noel saw yesterday. And I'm wondering if maybe they've been driven over already. Mumba Road and go Drakensberg onto Batelier Road. I think that would be the best. Yeah, here are these lion tracks, but they're a little old. Make our way further west back into the central area, or maybe go and see Treehouse or Twin Dams. Rhino tracks. This is at the Youngster, quite fresh too. I know I've been sleeping here, but there's been a vehicle on top of it, on top of the tracks, and where the sand has been disturbed. Somebody came by, obviously didn't find them. Now turning down Bateleur Road. Wet patch. What's the wet patch from? Buffalo. Just in case anyone new viewing, anyone's just arrived on our site and is watching for the first time, or you're just popping in, we're live, 3D live, I might add, on this RV Sands. Welcome. My name is Mark. Quiet Mark this morning, pensive, contemplative. Even quiet to Sebastian at the back. And Herman in final control. Back at camp, directing the show. We're looking for animals. We're looking for anything that moves this morning. We're looking for tracks. We're looking for flowers. We're even looking for new leaves that might be poking out of branchlets and twigs as we move into our spring. Not enough moisture for mushrooms. They'll come later in summer. Fungi. We'll get fungi. Some of the dead trees have got bracket fungi, shelf fungus. Reptile sunning itself in the morning sun. It's actually starting finally this time. What's the time? Yeah, that time. See, my watch stopped. But finally the sun is starting to warm up things. Nice to find ourselves a reptile sunning itself. We don't see too many reptiles, unfortunately. Rather dense grasses and vegetation. But every now and then you're lucky to find something on a termite mound, but also it's a matter of whether it stays there when it sees us, because a lot of them are very shy. They disappear as soon as they feel the vibrations of the vehicle. And of course, seeing the size of it, disappear very quickly. Leopard again. The leopard has marked its territory. See, there's some animals. Impala. Ooh, there's a squirrel running along a branch. Roadblock. Good morning, boys and girls. Roll a little bit closer. Lady impala, these females are quite heavily pregnant at the moment. Almost all of them, I would guess, are pregnant. All of the fertile ones. Not showing very much yet. Some of them are showing a little bit. Probably those that were impregnated early. There's a little boy now moving to the right, the one on the far right, moving out of shot. Little boy that was born last year. Judging by the size of his horns, he was quite a late birth, late in the season. Morning to Patty and Nora and there was a list of names. Everybody in chat. The ladies, yes, I'm looking for flowers. I'm looking for something special. We're going to make our way back to the sausage tree for the sausage tree flowers. Okay, I'm going to move forward a little bit. Impala moving into this thicket. A lot of buffalo dung around here. Sorry. Go ahead. Bye kids, have a lovely day. Impala moved into some thicket. Vivian in Chicago, all the way from the Midwest. Hello, Vivian. V-I-V-I-E-N-N-E. Vivian wants to know why I don't wear a watch. All the other presenters do. Vivian, when I moved to the bush, officially, properly, after trying my hand at stuff in the city in my early 20s, back in about 1986, I had a watch that I used for diving. It was a diving watch. I took it off and I packed it up with all my linen and all my stuff when I was packing up my house. Not my house here, the little place I was renting in the city. And it somehow disappeared. I've never worn a watch since. I don't really... My watch is the position of the sun in the sky. And that... Anyways, nowadays everybody carries cell phones. You've got a clock on a cell phone, so what do you need a watch for? I'm pretty good at telling time by the sun. I mean, we see it in the same place at the same time every day. It's kind of a 12-hour thing. Sometimes it rises and 6 hours later, which is it rises at 6 hours later, it's midday, it's straight up ahead. 6 hours later, 6 o'clock, the sun's setting. It's like seeing that half of a clock, and so when the sun is at certain angles, it's like looking at the hour hand on a clock, because it moves at the same pace over this 180 degrees of sky. It can be relatively easy to guess the age of the day, time of day. But I guess one doesn't really need the time as much here in the bush. I mean, we need times for starting and ending drive. We need time for our meeting in the morning. And that's about it. Other than drive times and our meetings, you don't need to know what time of the day it is. all the time. So Battalier Road at least had some Impala. Go to Twin Dams Road. See where we're going to go from there. I know what we can do. Ladies want flowers. We'll go to the sausage tree. The time is right now. The light is right. Not too bright. And we can go to Philemon's Cut Line and Treehouse Dam and stuff. Do that. Pan. I think we'll have a look down towards Gowrie Dam and quarantine, and then make our way to Philemon's Cut Line. Maybe go and do Zoe's Road even. Might be something in the west. Hasn't been much moving around the eastern side of things. There is a flower. I know where there's a flower we haven't seen yet, and I don't know what it is, so that's a good one to do. And that's near Gowrie Dam, between Gowrie Dam and Quarantine. If we can be able to get it. It's a very small flower, so I don't know if we'll get it on camera. I saw it the other night and it was too late because it was night time and we had closed down already. I can't imagine it would be out of flower yet. Safari Girl. I owe you an email, I know, I'm sorry, I'll get there. I think I owe a few people emails and messages on Facebook and stuff. Always seems to be like this when I come back from leave, and it takes me time to catch up on everything. And Safari Girl wants to know if there is a poaching problem here in the Sabi Sands. Not really. Now we can distinguish between two kinds of poaching, really. And there's poaching for subsistence, which, although it is poaching and it is illegal, and it's not like one turns a blind eye to it, but it's just not as destructive. Well, no, it is destructive. It's just not as evil as poaching for financial gain. I just want to show you a flower. I found a flower. This is a combretum, one of the bush willows. Oops. That'll do, I guess.
I'm also from Dublin. Anything picked up on under?
Lutu. Unakona channel 3. Nafuna izwa manje. Nothing on channel 3 that I can hear. Poaching for the pot. Anyways, these are lovely little spikes of the combretum, the russet bush willow. Cream coloured spikes. Can't see them too well, but there's one of the lovely little flowers that are starting to come out this morning, or this season. A little bit cool and windy, so at the moment no insects yet. But I'd imagine later on in the day when it gets a bit warmer, and if the wind drops a little bit, you get a bunch of wasps, flies and different types of bees that are the main pollinators at the moment. The odd beetle, there are a few beetles that will fly around these flowers, feeding on the flowers themselves and helping to pollinate, but it's mostly the different species of wasps at the moment. Okay. Now a lot of the wasps, most of the wasp species, they don't really perform much of a function as an adult other than to reproduce. They're very similar to butterflies. The main function of the wasp is when it's in its larval stage. Not main function, but the main impact that it has on an environment. Oh no, I can't really say that so much. Let me put it this way. They're similar in that as a larva they perform a consumer function, and they eat things, and then as adults the main purpose is just reproduction. And a lot of wasps don't really eat as adults. And some of them, some species of wasps, they just need a little bit of nectar, a little bit of energy just to keep going, to fulfill that reproductive function. And that is why you'll find them on flowers, getting a bit of nectar or pollen. Some of them will use that as material to feed their youngsters, those wasps that are vegetarian, same as bees, that will collect pollen and make a paste, and they will use that as like a porridge, it's like a food store for the larva when it hatches from the egg. So generally most wasps that are feeding on those flowers are generally wasps that are carnivorous or insectivorous as larvae. We'll have a look at Gari Dam. You know, we don't get to see much of Gari Dam until we get the camera fixed. We only have that one fixed view. So let's go and do a little scan of Gari Dam and see if there's anything around. Mostly antelope and zebra tracks here on Twin Dams Road. So, see, I'll get sidetracked. Gosh, I get distracted so easily. Poaching. No, not really much of a poaching issue. As I was saying, subsistence poaching perhaps on the edges of the reserve where people can sneak under the fence and set traps. It's not condoned. It's sad kind of poaching because they snares and wires and they can cause a lot of damage to larger animals that can break the snares free. But fortunately we don't get the kind of poaching that has become rife in this country with rhino poaching. We have such a huge network of roads, and the roads are so busy with game drive vehicles. That in itself is a deterrent. But also pretty strict rules about entry and exiting the gate. But not anybody can just come into the Sabi Sand. And it's very difficult to get out of the Sabi Sand if you don't have the valid exit permits and stamps. They still have a similar system in Kruger, but somehow they manage to buck the system. I don't know how they do that. Probably inside jobs. Nothing here at Gari Dam this morning. It's pretty quiet. Sit and listen for a few minutes. Oh wow. A wasp. Is she a wasp? Oh God. I suppose while I'm here I can do this.
In the TV. Clean your TV.
Clean your TV. Interesting, these knobthorns got leaves on already. They haven't even been in full bloom, but they've got leaves on already. Okay, let's move. Get to find that flower that I was talking about that we need to identify. It looks like a small bush. And then go to the Sausage Tree and Treehouse Dam and Zoe's Road and see what else is there to be seen. Okay. Season's grating is still here. Even seen a bachelor flying or Wahlberg. It's this cold air. Not the best staying aloft without flapping wings. Waterbuck haven't even woken up yet, and they've got long hair. They're insulated. Only one waterbuck. Let's have a look at it quickly, if we can. She's lying in these grasses. I see the others are lying there. There are others. I can't really see them very well. They just behind the spike thorn over there. Speak of the devil, a Batelier, the youngster. So the waterbuck is still tucked in, and that's pretty much what a lot of the animals are doing this morning. Still a chilly wind that's blowing. Trying to stay tucked down against the ground. Hiding, not hiding, but trying to stay out of the wind. Shall we go? Now if I can remember where this flower was that I wanted to find. Ah, there it is. I can see it bright and white. I'm going to have to photograph it too. See if it'll work on the camera, if we can get it on cam. Look at it, it's beautiful. This is, that shouldn't be too close, has it? Move if I have to. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't even think I found this last year, because I'm battling to think of what it is. So I'm just going to get out and photograph it. Do I need to be closer or further, or?
It won't change anything. The program, the camera triggers to focus on it.
Ah.
But it's not so bad. There's a picture in focus, Herman.
Pardon?
No, talking to Herman. Herman, you copy me? Okay.
I'm doing this for you, because we can't get that close. I'm going to try and take a photo and I'll try and post it. But I need my little macro lens, and I also need to move the vehicle because I don't want the vehicle tire in the photograph.
Actually, I did pretty well in focus and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's turned out pretty good, yeah. Yeah, Herman said the picture is very cool.
Okay, good. I still want to get a photograph.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's a beautiful flower, and Just trying to think. Could be sandpaper bush. Uh-oh. Sun on it. Not easy. Can you keep still, please? You know how we battle with the voiceover in the wind? It's not anything like it's like trying to photograph a spider on a spider web, and the spider web's doing this, and your depth of focus is 1/fraction of a millimeter. Just that little bit of movement with the wind, because it's in macro, makes it very difficult.
You want me to come and hold it for you?
Suppose I could.
Still gonna be moving. Yeah, there you go.
Still getting the. You see, if I take it from further away and zoom on macro function, I get a better effect. No. Almost impossible.
You know what we can do, Mike? You can get a picture out of what I'm filming.
Well, we can try that. I mean, I can always come back here in the middle of the day or something. It's a nice light now.
We can extract one frame of what I just filmed, and you can keep it as a picture, and it will be like focused and clear.
True.
To help you to identify it.
I'm just trying to think of what it could be now. Looking at that leaf, I mean, it's very similar to a wild pear, in fact. Very, very similar to the wild pear. Dombea. Let me see. While we're sitting here. Only thing with the wild pear is that the flowers start going beige and brown. I suppose it is. It is.
It's a white pear?
No,
Nice.
You know what throws me is that it's just this one little stalk, and the leaves are not really as well formed as they would be if they were on a proper wild pear bush. I mean, wild pear in the southern part of the Swabi Sand is quite a prolific tree, and you see them everywhere, but you'll see this lovely big round crown covered in these blooms, and one have to be honest, one doesn't really get that close to them to see the end of it. This just is one little stalk sticking out of the ground. This makes it so much more difficult, because you're thinking of something that is, I don't know, I guess one isn't thinking of you think that a wild pear will only be flowering when it's a big plant. So you're thinking of something that's more small and shrub-like. But there are one or two leaves on there that are very distinctly rough, rounded shaped leaves, very similar to the wild, well, similar, because it is. So, Dombea rotundifolia, it is a wild pear. There are not many here, so we don't see that many. There's one at the staff village. There are one or two up near Sydney's house. And other than that, I haven't found any on Western Gowrie.
Can you show it in the bookmark maybe?
Yeah. What did I say it was? Page 262. Birds are shouting. Guinea fowl are shouting. There's an eagle around. Guinea fowl are scattering, and the grey lories are shouting. That's the kind of noise that they make when there's like either African hawk eagles or, yeah, no, that's the heron. Must have been an eagle or something flying around. Because the guinea fowl are going crazy. It's not something, I don't think it's something local where the guinea fowl were, because the grey lories, the go-away birds, were shouting all around us. And it's that kind of a call that they'll shout when there's an eagle. Maybe there's martial eagle or something is around. 262. Okay, we'll find it in both books. There we go. That's not, I mean, these Anita Fabian paintings in this book are very beautiful. But sometimes they don't quite do them justice. I mean, that isn't very difficult to see that this is the same thing. But you can see the very distinct round leaf, hence the name rotundifolia. Okay, I've got the other book actually. I've got my other flower book too. That might because it might show the whole tree in this book. Dombea. Well, it's called a wild pear, but it doesn't have pear fruits. Doesn't. I'm not too sure why it's called a pear, but 131. In this book it's 131, in that book it's 262. That's just a coincidence. Here they're showing them very pink flowers, and it's one of those anomalies that you get different areas. You get a range from pale white to pink, and then they start going brown. But there is the tree in full bloom with the white flowers. And interestingly enough, the Swazi name of this flower, which is called Umbikanyaka, it actually means heralding of the new season, because it's one of the first flowering trees, and they are profuse when they flower and incredibly beautiful. I mean, this sticking out of the dry bush veld is actually quite amazing. Definitely one of those things that herald the onset of spring. It says here they're usually white, but some trees have flowers of a buff pink hue, while the occasional tree has blooms splendid true rose pink. There we go. Found a postcard in my bag. Should have been on the wall. That's that one from Treehouse in Kenya. Treetops. Okay, let's go. There's my flower for the day. Now that I know we've got a wild pair here, we need to... Actually, you know what? I want to go back to these guinea fowl. They're still complaining. Where? There it is. Ah, there it is. There it is. It is the juvenile martial eagle. It must have come in very, very low. It's flying away just above us, going way above. Wow. The hunt was obviously unsuccessful. That is a sub-adult of the largest eagle that we get down here. Wingspan of over 6 feet. Perhaps one of the most magnificent eagles. And if I hadn't have turned around so quickly, he might have stayed in that tree. But I wouldn't have seen him in that tree, into the sun like that. As soon as the eagle's gone, the guinea fowl have now calmed down. It could very well be the same marshal that we've had around here before. Okay. Oh, you're still trying to follow him. Well done following him in the air. Not easy following a bird with a normal camera, let alone this one. Marshals love guinea fowl. They also love eating, they love catching monitor lizards. Evidently, there are records here that Yuri, the owner of Juma, has seen in the past a martial eagle killing an impala. And I've seen photographs of a marshal killing a jackal. Some kudu now here on quarantine. I think we know this group. It's a group that has a young male with them. Lovely red tinge to all the terminalias as their seed pods start ripening. Not as red as the Terminalia prinoides, the silver cluster leaf. A little bit bigger than cluster leaf that I get up in the Timbavati called the purple pod cluster leaf. Okay, got a lot of questions. Elizabeth, where have the hippos gone? Far, far away. What's that song? Where have all the flowers gone? Hello, Mrs. Kudu. Where are the hippos? Elizabeth, I don't think the water's too low. I mean, there's that one hippo in Treehouse Dam. Nice to see the females after we saw those bulls earlier this morning. 2 little boys amongst these kudu. Both of them, look at them, long, long legs. Tiny little horns peering out above the ears. Maybe 18 months old. Other one, horns about the same size as his ears, maybe only about a year old. I think. Some of the hippo are at Buffelshoek Dam. We noticed only 2 hippo there this morning. Some of them are probably up on Buffelshoek. They could be at Sydney's Dam. Not really sure. Once they leave our area, not too sure which dams they go to. But also, they're probably ranging fairly far and wide for grazing at the moment. Grazing is probably getting quite thin on the ground. Some Nongo on quarantine. Tony, sorry, come in. Hello, Tony. Tony's asking, are there more sable and roan in the Sabi sand now that the Kruger fence has been removed? I don't think so, Tony. I honestly couldn't answer that. I really don't know whether the population has changed. I mean, places like Mala Mala might have records of seeing some more that sable and roan are coming in. Not roan. I don't think there's roan in this part of the world. I think the roan are only up in the northern part of the Kruger. But there are sable just east of the Sabi sand, and it is possible that they would move into the Sabi sand. But I'm sure... Well, let's put it this way. I would have to find out from other guys from other areas whether they know of any increase in roan and sable activity. But I'm not aware of any, but that's no indication of there not being activity, because I've been out of the loop for a while, even though I've been in the Sabi sand for 18 months, 20 months now. Still not sure of things that happen in other parts of the reserve. Just guinea fowl in front of us, just emerging from some very thick bush where they must have been hiding from that martial eagle. And I'm also looking at the tree stump of a marula next to me. Yeah, this one. Actually got some leaves, some new fresh green leaves coming out. So all these marulas here are going to soon come into leaf. Hello, marula tree. I love you. Hello, Linda. Linda wants to know when will the first migrating birds arrive for spring, and what will they be? And are they waiting for the rain? As far as the when is concerned, already. As far as waiting for the rains, no. As far as what will they be, well, let's see. We've already had the red-breasted swallows come in. We've already seen the yellow-billed kite. I've already seen Wahlberg's eagle. I've already seen old lion duck. I've already seen the black cuckoo shrike. I've already seen. I've heard black cuckoo, and Jared said he heard a Klaas's cuckoo. So the birds arrive already, and it's not really that they're waiting for the rains, Linda. It's what it is of course, it's the temperature changes and the sun, the lengths of days, and depending on where they come from. I mean, it's going to be a while before. Hold on. I don't know where that is. Not our problem. You've got to wait for things like the steppe buzzards and steppe eagles. They've got to come all the way from the Russian steppes. It's quite a long distance. Other European migrants, the European swallows will be coming soon, I guess. Eurasian rollers, Eurasian swifts. A bunch of the European birds that will be coming in. You see, at the moment, the migrants that are here are what we call the intra-African migrants. Some of them also will only be coming once the rain comes. So it's kind of a bit of a yes and no question to are they waiting for the rains. To some extent, yes. The insect eaters, like the woodlands kingfisher, they're only going to come in November when there's a lot of greenery, a lot of rain, a lot of insects. So at the moment, mostly what we call the intra-African migrants, and soon to be coming are what we call the Palearctic migrants. And the Palearctic migrants are those that come from Asia, Europe, and even, as I say, the Russian steppes. So every day, as much as we're looking for flowers and new growth and new little signs of spring every day, on the ground we should also be looking at signs of new bird life that are coming in for the season. And some of them will be coming just because it's starting to get cold elsewhere and it's fall elsewhere, and some of them will be coming in because we're waiting because they want to come in when the insects are coming. And the reason why we're just going to have to come in now. I wanted to come here in the morning because I thought maybe the pump wouldn't be on, but the pump is running, and the pump is going to be making a noise in the background. But I'm going to see if we can get a view of these flowers. This is what I wanted, this lovely morning light. See if we can somehow point the vehicle in the right direction. We've got a drongo. Whoa. I don't know how high you can lift the camera, whether that'll be possible.
No, that'll be fine.
Pardon?
No, that's plenty fine.
Okay, so please excuse the pump. I know this morning the light wasn't right yet to be able to come and see the flowers. I wanted sunshine. I wanted the sun on this beautiful green crown. And each day there are more and more flowers. Now I'm just going to go and look around for a dead, not dead, but fallen flower. And fallen parts of the tree that I can show you, much as I did the other day. Hello, Drongo. Where's the other half of your color? I lost my drongo. It is here. Okay, is the noise of the pump too loud for my talking?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's how much.
So I've got a question for you. A fork-tailed drongo has got this forked tail, but if there's only one, can it still be called a fork? Look at this little child. Lost half of its tail. It gave me one. I was going to say something, but it gave me a bit of a fright earlier because it came up right behind my head, and I just saw this black flash next to my eye because it was following me as I was walking through the grass, trying to catch insects. I was even trying to find it insects in the grass, but there weren't any. Poor child must be hungry. Okay, let's move up to Philemon's cut line. We'll talk there. I did that too the other day. This was the pump. We'll go past the pump. Okay. And a little drongo with only half a fork of the tail. Gorgeous tree. I love sausage trees. Also, it's a relatively small one. You should see how big they get in Botswana and Okavango and up in East Africa. giant trees. Okay. Come, Drongo. Follow me, I'm right behind you. That's a bunch of Aramark babblers. Robbing the flowers of their nectar. There we go, I managed to keep the promise. Come back. Hello, little one. With me. Oh, you caught something, well done. Russet bush willows around this little pumpkin house are starting to come into flower. Hyena, hyena, hyena. Those days today, I guess. Did you just see a mosquito on the camera lens? I don't think so. Yeah, it might have been that wasp that was sitting on the lens. The little wasp. Little bitty, itty bitty. So, let's see, let's talk about flowers now. This Kigelia, scientific name is Kigelia africana, and the Kigelia has been shown, they've done some pharmacological trials on the Kigelia, and it's proven to be very effective in the treatment of early skin cancers, and you actually can buy a cream now called Kigelia cream. I think it's marketed overseas. I'm just taking this out for the flowers for the ladies. Now these flowers.
He said he can barely hear you, so just
really?
speak a bit louder, yeah.
The wind, I guess. The flowers themselves, actually, the whole flower falls off and it leaves behind. Now this is unusual to find this, but this is the ovary, the stigma you can see standing up in the center there. That is, unfortunately, although it's probably fertilized. I'm not going to...
So he's bringing it a bit closer to the camera if you want.
that would normally develop into the sausage. Now the sausages themselves can be anything from a few inches long and round and fat like a salami to, I've seen, well over a meter long and weighing over 10 kilograms. Giant sausages that are very, very heavy and very, very dense. And they're not real sausages. They've got the shape of a sausage. However, now this part of the flour normally stays behind. This has been broken off, obviously, by birds. I was going to just say, just show you these beautiful flowers, because I think by stretching out, maybe this whole 3D effect might be quite amazing. You can see a lot of the pollen that has fallen off. Now these flowers do fall off eventually, but now let's just get one of them at a time. The flower hangs with these the stamens. You can see it touching the top of my finger. As a bird, a sunbird or another bird puts its head in there to get to the nectar, it'll dot the head with pollen, and then of course the next flower it goes to, that pollen gets rubbed off on the stigma. But these flowers eventually fall off once the flower has been pollinated, and what remains is then of course the ovary, the stigma, the style, and stigma and style and ovary, anthers and filaments and petals. That's what we need to do with the schools when we're on school TV. I can show you all the parts of the flower. But the nectar, you can see this cup on just above the ovary, around the inside, formed by the calyx of the flower. That is filled with nectar, and of course they're not only sunbirds. The sunbirds that are designed to get to the flower, of course, they've got these lovely thin narrow beaks and they tongue that darts out and drinks from the nectar. Not only the sunbirds that get to them, of course it's the sunbirds that are supposed to pollinate them, as well as at night there are certain bats. First rock and second rock, not where we can get to. So of course in nature you get a lot of cheats, you get a lot of birds that are going to cheat. They're not supposed to drink the nectar of these flowers, because otherwise they would have the beaks that are designed for it. So here you can see how it's bruised. If I can show you, you can see the edge of the flower there, right at the base where it joins the cup of the calyx. It's been breached by a beak of a bird. And there's another one here. This one you can see how, you can even see the triangular shape of the beak of a bird, how a bird has torn open the flower to get to the nectar. And of course that's cheating. It's not any good for the flower because it doesn't pollinate the flower. In fact, if I'm looking at this particular flower, it doesn't even look like there was pollen on these stamens, that it was too early for this flower to be pollinated. So that's possibly one of the reasons why, being only one sausage tree in this area, it's also one of the reasons why this tree doesn't really fruit as much as other sausage trees do, because so many birds are utilizing these flowers and things that it doesn't get a chance. Whereas if there were a bunch of sausage trees in the area, you'd guarantee that at least some of them would fertilize and some of them would turn into fruit. I can remember I used to ask, when I first came here and I first found that tree, I asked Rex and Peter Pretorius if they'd ever seen fruit on the tree, and they said no. However, it doesn't mean there hasn't ever been fruit. The other day I found a piece of a sausage, and today I found another piece of a sausage. And it might actually be the same sausage, because I found the top half of one the other day, and here's the bottom half of another. And I'm going to point it at the camera. You're going to see that there are a bunch of seeds inside there. This is dry, it's desiccated, and it's very, very light at the moment. It is probably been lying on the ground for a considerable amount of time, right throughout the entire dry season from last summer. I doubt. A lot of these seeds are broken. That's probably because parrots have been getting at them, or baboons. Baboons, parrots, elephants love eating the fruits, but parrots also get into the seeds, and the baboons love getting into the fruits too. And once again, I'm going to take this and see if I can get any viable seed out of it. I'm not holding any hope, because the last piece that I took, I couldn't get it. All those seeds, there were no fertile seeds in it at all. So it shows that it does fruit, and that means that for the next couple of months we're going to have to watch that tree fairly closely and have a look to see if there are any developing fruits. It takes a long time for that sausage to develop. It'll only really be towards the late summer if there are going to be any sausages and we're going to see these big elongated fruits. And well, just one of the most beautiful big flowers that we get in the bush. Kigelia africana. Smells like cabbage. No, cabbage has got a different. I said the other day it smelled like lettuce. It does. It kind of smells like clean green plant. It's got a very nice smell. It's not a scented smell. It's not like you would imagine a flower to be. It's not a flower that wants to attract any moths. So it's not going to produce a scent because it doesn't want any insect. The stamens are so big, and the stigma is also just the way it's designed. It's designed for the likes of animals, so it wants to be big and showy to bring in birds and bats, rather than heavily scented and colourful in a way that it'll attract insects. Insects are too small to pollinate. Although I have no doubt that there are insects that also steal the pollen. You'll find certain beetles that will also drill into the sides of these flowers. I'm just looking, it must be the same type of bird that's doing it, because each of these flowers is the same bruise. Try and turn it like this. Each of them have the same bruise and the same little holes at the base of the flower where something has got in there and cheated the flower out of its reproductive, that's the word I'm looking for. Basically just cheated the flower. Good thing. But there, that's the flower on the calyx. For the ladies. Gentlemen's cut line. Let's go to Treehouse Dam. There might be something there. One of those days of just a lovely morning in the bush, not having to chase after animals or fret over spoor following tracks, because there just haven't been any. Okay? Andiamo. I need to get hold of some of that Kigelia cream. It'd be interesting to try it. Zebra been rolling in the sand. Rhino tracks. We've seen quite a few fresh rhino tracks this morning, but I haven't had any luck finding them. Mainly because I need to get out and follow the tracks on foot when they leave the road. Maybe there's a rhino down here at the dam. Fresh dung. midden. I see some tails swinging. I think there might be some zebra down there today. Only tails I know that swing like that are zebra. Seeing it way through the trees. Drinking. Zebra coming to drink. Mangwa in Shangaan. Kundamalia in Swahili. Dube in Zulu. And there's zebra and impala. Please don't go anywhere, zebbies. Please stay there. Looks like we've got two groups of zebra, one on this side, one on the other side. Very often you'll find two herds of zebra trying to come to the water. One herd will wait until the other one is done. There's a hierarchy amongst the zebra groups. There it looks like the two stallions are. No. Please don't go anywhere, children. We want to see you. This is beautiful. This will be stunning in 3D. What did you see, Zebby? The stallion saw something and runs to his friend for reassurance. Beautiful liquid call of the magpie shrikes in the distance. The two of them having a bit of a game. Pushing and shoving and rubbing and hello, Hamgo, if that's you. Rubbing his nose in the mud. Quite a mood this morning. A dazzle. Oh, getting a little bit boisterous now. Mind those hooves.
What a lovely way to end the day. Well, not today, but a lovely way to end the drive. Some of you are ending your day, possibly going to go to bed soon. Thank you, Zebra. Very nice of you. It was a lovely way to end the drive. And, well, thank you for joining me this morning. Thanks for your patience, as quiet as it was. Glad to have found a flower or two. And a little bit of excitement with the Marshall's eagle flying around, although we didn't get to see it very well. But luckily, Sebastian managed to film it a little bit, follow it with the camera. I'm hoping this afternoon will be a bit more productive, a bit more fun, and we'll have to wait and see. I think Jared will be on drive. We do have a fireside chat tonight, so I'll be getting ready for that for this afternoon. My name is Mark, Sebastian been on camera, and Herman has been in final control, and you've been watching Safari TV on Wild Earth. I hope you've enjoyed the show with us this morning. So do join us again, 3 o'clock Central African time, and we'll be heading out again here in the